Hi everyone, it's adrienneleaa. This video is going to be in response to one of the comments that I received on my First Impressions Spencer's Tarot video, where the person asked me to go through each card. So thank you so much for that request. This is the first installment of the groups of videos that I'll have for this deck. So for this video, it's going through the major arcana. So there are variants of different interpretations to choose from. Some may be more obvious or literal to the imagery, while others can pertain to the mythological creature's lore. Otherwise, meanings can derive from personal interpretation and traditional Rider-Waite-Smith meanings. So you can use what resonates with you. I do have notes on each card, so I'll be reading that and then I'll flip through the cards so that you guys can see the cards while I read. So the first one is the Fool card. And I wrote the different symbols and what I felt could be the meanings for them, depending on the type of reading, what the reading is. So for the cat in the card, cat companion / familiar is the cat, those you keep around you or against you, taking things lightly for the general interpretation for the Fool. The candle in the card, an idea. The cuckoo pint, which is the plant right here, is the plant in the diamond vase, erect in womb, body / merging of masculine feminine, which is a metaphysical meaning for this plant in general, wholeness. And then the diamonds on the vase, pentacles represented in playing cards. So that could be, if you read with playing cards, the diamonds are the pentacles. Diamonds are also on the jester's clothing. So working for some type of fulfillment, work, manifestation. The stairs behind the jester, so there are different stairs there, multiple. Journey to enlightenment, different paths to take, experience, money, and hat. Making money, entrepreneur, doing your own thing. The red apple in the middle next to the cat. Passion, knowledge, spell work, and the cards up in the air. Divination, the unknown. So the magician is the warlock, challenging abilities. The hills behind him, obstacles, practice makes perfect, in quotes. Tree, life force, wisdom, guardians, wand energy, the sun, and the waxing moon. Gain from workings, castle, castles, away from home, being away, going on the journey. Sword pointing up in the card, messages, and the fire / coin that he's holding, alchemy. So the high priestess is the fortune teller. So the phoenix here, or it can be interpreted as the phoenix, change from what we know when we receive what is being told to us, reflected in the death card, because the death card is also, it is the phoenix. The crystal ball that she's holding similar to veil in traditional high priestess. And you also see little parts of a veil in the background. The fortune teller herself can represent who you receive advice from. Some may be out for themselves in terms of who you get advice from, so money, greed, etc. So some readers or some fortune tellers may not be out for like good intention, is what I'm trying to say. So there's the clock next to her, well, behind her. Zodiac astrological charts on her cloth. It looks like it's a Venetian septagram or a 7-pointed star, which can be interpreted as a fairy star connected to other realms. She also has the Book of Shadows in front of her, or a book, and tarot and candles. So this could be ritualistic. Money is there for maybe she's getting paid for what she does, and ink and quill incantations or intention. So next we have the Empress, who is Kali. So the keynotes are more obvious for this card for what Kali generally symbolizes. Known to be maternal and a defender of women. And I have in parentheses, has a shank and surrounded by skulls, also slayer of demons. So it makes sense that she's on the Empress card. Her destructiveness, respectively, is more noted on other decks. So I also have in parentheses, Tower in the Daughters of the Moon card, so that's where she's represented in another deck. The water symbol in the lotus mandala, so you can see the triangle with the lotus, more leaning towards love, spirituality, meditative calmness, also surrounded by fire, and even on the mandala. So there's the fire here and down here. Love heals and transforms. Sexuality and keeper of time, and death. And you see that she's devouring men for that. The chalice can be interpreted as a womb or sacred feminine. And the hands that aren't being destructive, or the ones that aren't holding the skull or the head, and the one that doesn't have a shank, are the blessing hands, and for those who worship her with good intent. So that's other information that you might find helpful. So for the Emperor, we have the Sphinx. There's hieroglyphics surrounding him, or the Sphinx. History of civilizations, ruling of pharaohs, the Ankh down here is the sacred feminine, the Sphinx itself, monumental accomplishments, protector / guard, and a lion. Aries isn't a lion, but I was going with the astrological association here. But fiery, dominant, goes with the climate / area where the Sphinx is. The blue sky gods or god / goddesses of their time, and worship wings of Isis, which is above near the numerical number, doing the right thing for yourself and others, so responsibility. And the snake on top is knowledge. So for the Hierophant, we have the voodoo warlock. He's holding a doll, so I put what is the doll filled with, because you can stuff the doll with different things. Is the Hierophant helpful or working against you? What values does he or she teaches us? Dreadlocks, they say that hair helps receive messages from above. The full moon, honing into your practice, which is seen in his expression. The mask, so what can be hidden? What does the mask represent? Fire, so we have fire here and also there. And candle, or energy, candle magic, passion, intent, concentrated energy. The bones underneath. Ancestors' sacrifices. Skulls can represent luck. The athame could be a sacred item or ritualistic item. The mortar and pestle. Herbs transform energy, different types of spiritual working. So a couple of examples. Love, money, career, self-improvement, hexing, bringing in, sending back, summoning, halting, divination, etc. And the rooster, masculine, confidence, feathers associated with communication, and the rooster can also be a familiar of the archetype on the card. The snake can represent Damballa Widu, or the wife Aida Widu, knowledge, cosmic energy, and also associating with rainbows in the culture. Succubus for the Lover's card. The man sleeping is shown. So this succubus is traditionally a demon or other entity that enters your dream. So sometimes they're known to sleep with the person in the dream, or the person that's having the dream. So who you are with may not be who they really are, and that's associated with one of the lores. So the mythology with Lilith leaving Adam and sleeping with Archangel Samuel, and there's other similar mythologies, but generally that would be the premise of the succubus being in your dreams. So nighttime, sleep paralysis, full moon, energy amplified, claws digging in, so bond, connection, possessiveness, succubus on top, intimacy, and I have submissive, dominant, or balanced. Centaur on the Chariot card. Part horse, energy, being your own catalyst, control of your own actions and or path. And movement, man's expression, confident or maybe a little over his head, cocky or full of himself. The mountains in the background, struggle, obstacles, adventures, cycles. Swords, the sword, speaking his own truth, could be offensive in terms of action. The shield, defensive in terms of whether or not what you're doing when you're fighting. Very little armor, how much protection he can have, or what he needs. Long hair, spiritually aware, receiving spiritual messages or insight. Clouds clearing, future becoming more inclusive and known. Warrior spirit. Valkyrie for justice, making decisions, honoring the brave, doing what is right, equilibrium, wisdom gain. And in lore, traditionally, the Valkyrie brings the the warriors that have fought in battle or died honorably by fighting in battle to Valhalla so they could fight with the gods. So, Yeti for Hermit, Mystery, Legend, Finding the Unknown, the footprints leading. What you seek might be right in front of you, and it could also be the journey to and venturing off into darkness and seeking solitude. Venturing off to find the truth, snow, mountain, the journey also, where the Yeti has been cited by people. Wheel of Fortune is the Inquisitor. Not always having a good experience in your life. Cycles, making choices. Ones may be more personal than others for making choices. Fire behind the Inquisitor's head. With his head down, holding a cross. Fighting for your beliefs or going against them? Question mark. Manticore for Strength. Seeking light in a different place other than oneself. In parentheses, sun's expression doesn't look like the kindest or a good intention. Looking into the sun can literally hurt you. Sometimes Manticore can be looking at the butterfly instead for the reading. Insight, a loyal companion, transformation, part man, lion, and scorpion. Many attributes to work with, learn with, ones to use in different circumstances. Uprooted tree here. Getting to know oneself or a situation. Tulips growing between boulders. Growing in uncomfortable places, but still strong and resilient. Insight, wisdom, love, true intent, growth. So those are also some of the metaphysical properties of tulips too. An imp for Hanged Man. So in German folklore, it's a lesser demon, and not all of them are evil. Hanging imp in a bad situation, capable of moving or releasing oneself, but not choosing to. Waiting for the right time. Imp's expression, he has, quote unquote, something up his sleeve, having a plan in thought, seeing things in different perspectives, literally. Boiling water, plot thickens, gaining more insight. And also water being of the subconscious or emotions. Death, time to make use of it, which is associated. And to not dwell on it, to not always be there. Boat, voyage, next stage of life. Hooded skeleton, death itself or survivor. Blade, use your tools, weapons, or opportunities wisely. Candles, illumination, lantern, light that leads the way, also allows you to see. Sea nymph for temperance. So for the sea, behind her, inner balance, depth, subconscious, empowered by the moon, being comfortable in your own skin, embracing sexuality. Nymphs are generally sexualized beings, typically found near bodies of water and woodlands. Her stance and clothing, light, loving, angelic flow, change in tempo, hand gestures reminiscent of the traditional temperance card. Alchemy, eyes closed, answers are found within, searching for inner truth. For the devil we have demon. Surrounded by alchemical symbols, manifestation, fire surrounding or beneath him is intention. Also, the red behind him can be associated with energy, how much you're putting into something, what you're passionate about, or maybe even addicted to. Something not as it seems. So I put an example. What you think is a demon may be an entity instead. Like if your house is haunted, and or the Venus flytrap like hands that you see here. It looks like it a little bit. What may seem innocent may be more harmful: sickness, ill will, attachment, haunting, addiction, disease, needing to detach, free oneself. So for tower, we have gargoyle, placed on buildings, especially churches, reminiscent of tower, made to look scary to ward off evil. For protection, lightning, more of the traditional meaning. Force of change, also force of change, fire changes anything it touches. Tooth fairy for star, child sleeping calmly, not worried, tooth exchange, slash opportunity of, in parentheses, of all other houses, the fairy is coming to her. Dreaming, wishing on a star, childlike innocence, believing in the unknown, slash what has not happened yet. Different houses and shapes and sizes, all sorts of possibilities, waning moon, taking away to receive something better. Werewolf for moon, fears amplified in the darkness, transformation slash shape-shifting, human vulnerability, things not as they seem, night and day difference, also perspective, making use of your most useful senses in the circumstance that you're in. Full moon, guidance, moon magic. And the scene reminds me of werewolves in more of South American folklore. Sun, phoenix. Sun comes up and goes down, lives and dies, rising from challenges, becoming new or whole, returning to youth, continuing another cycle, resilient, power, energy or amplified energy. 2. Cerberus for judgment, guarding the fiery gates of for the underworld, associated with Greek mythology and Hades. Crosses, religious connotations, rites of passage, underworld, and also passage. Going through the gates, being in a different place than where you were before. Black figures, maybe shadows or the unknown and unknown traits. 3 heads could be associated to triple goddess, or maybe the Trinity. So guard dogs, like the angel in the judgment card, and in quotes, welcomes you to the next stage. Ouroboros for the world, winged dragon chained in place, confined, concentrated energy, constrained for reversed, cycle not yet complete for reversed. More traditionally, life and death. Aura meaning tail, boros meaning eating, continuous renewal, infinite, whole greenery and barren plants above. And versus the fire and water below. As above, so below. In parentheses, with dowsing symbols, which could indicate the Star of David to some. Planetary symbols. So these are surface level examples too, considering there are symbols that can be translated into more alchemical symbology, and the Ouroboros is an ancient symbol that is found in numerous cultures. Also, with the Devil card as well, there are some alchemical symbols surrounding him and even on his forehead. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that was helpful, if you would like me to continue these videos, you can let me know. Thank you again, and I'll see you in another video. Bye.